Angélica, cuando te nombro, me vuelve a la memoria un valle, pálida luna en la noche de abril y aquel pueblito de Córdoba. Un valle, pálida luna en la noche de abril y aquel pueblito de Córdoba.
So, we're back. We're here in Naples, where I lived while all this was going down. So my previous relationship before this was Pumpkin Cheeks, which was like at the very, very beginning of college. And now at this point I'm in my like junior year or senior year. I don't even remember. But it had been a while. And right at the start of college is when I kind of befriended Lena. And the whole time that I knew her, she was seeing somebody. But we were good friends. We had a ton of classes together. And I don't know, we had a good dynamic. We succeed in doing exams or lab reports or whatever. So from that, we develop a nice friendship. Naturally, I share with her the fact that I'm constantly single and on the prowl, and it's just not working out. Every once in a while, I would like, you know, want a relationship, and it wouldn't work out, which is okay. It's okay, but...
I don't know, Josh. It seems like you're really trying to like, it's okay though. But it's okay. Like you're telling yourself
I was playfully, yeah, right, yeah.
Deep down, you're crying.
No, but it was more in a playful, funny, self-deprecating humor type of way. It was like, oh great, she doesn't like me either. Forever alone. Like that was me. Like that was the type of thing I would say. Then the whole Clarissa thing happened, right? I tell my crush that I like her, and she starts bawling, crying. So as I'm telling this to Lena, she's like, she's feeling for me, you know? So what I'm getting at is when this whole thing started, like where we're at in the story right now, she was like, well, you were single, now you got somebody who's into you, right? Here you are, you're looking for somebody, right? Here I am, forever alone, right? I'm here. To a point, she was right? Like I'd even my previous relationships, like my girlfriends didn't love me.
Oh my gosh, that is so sad.
Like it was one-sided.
Are you sure?
For the most part. At least they didn't express it to me.
Josh, you kind of went for the damage.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's too.
That's your problem.
Yeah, right. So then when I get someone, or someone comes across my path who's willing to put it all on the line for me, that is, I've never had that before.
Josh, I feel like this is going into a darker side than I expected.
Oh yeah, it's gonna keep going.
God,
This is the beginning of the end.
This is,
Just so you guys know.
It
It only gets worse from here.
This is dark, man. I'm glad you're in a better place now.
I am. I really am. So then I'm in a position where one of my best friends, someone who actually cares for me, understands all of my problems and knows all of my tics, knows all of my buttons, is like ready to give it all to me. I wanted to say no because of the situation, the circumstance, right? Because she had been dating her boyfriend for 4 years and wanted to get together with me the next day. That's a bit extreme. But I didn't see the harm at that time in entertaining the notion. I never had someone show me that way, that they were that serious about me. So it got to me. And on top of that, to see her crying, like it got to me, okay? Because I actually care. So when she's pouring her heart out to me, I want to be there for her. But I also don't, because it wouldn't be healthy. Because she's not in a good mental space, okay? She's not thinking rationally. So also, there's red flags, clearly.
Si un águila fue tu cariño, paloma, mi pobre alma, temblando, mi corazón en tus garras sangró y no le tuviste lástima, temblando, mi corazón en tus garras sangró y no le tuviste lástima.
Alright, so what am I trying to get at by saying all of this? That day I went to work. I found out that Lena broke up with her boyfriend. So that day at work, she was messaging me and calling me saying that for me to go over, for us to talk, for us to figure things out. And I was exhausted from the previous night.
Ew.
No, I didn't sleep.
That doesn't help.
Oh my God. But I gave in. So when she invited me over, things kind of moved fast. And I let myself kind of get swept up in it, and her too. But then when I went to leave, it was the same game again. Her crying for me to stay, and then me explaining that I needed to go. And in the back of my mind being like, we can't be doing this anymore. And her knowing that, and then crying for that reason, telling me to stay so that it doesn't end. And the whole charade continuing more. So when I finally do manage to leave, things are never the same after that. This is someone who I see on a daily basis at work, in my classes. It's weird moving forward, right? She asked me to return, and I kind of took it back. You know, I was like, no, this isn't the right move. You need time to heal. You need time to recover. And her justification was like, I'm a long-term relationship person. I just get out of a relationship, get into another relationship. I haven't been single since middle school. Right.
That's a red flag.
Yeah, so she wanted to leave that relationship of 4 years to be with me, seriously. And I didn't think that was the right move for either of us. So when I did leave her place, there was kind of this air of betrayal. I get it. I'm sending mixed messages, okay? Because you're asking me to go over. I do. And then when it's all said and done, I want us to not do that anymore. But do I not have the right to make that decision? It's just, there's no winning. But this is my home base. A lot of emotional calls took place here. They would actually be like hours long, each call. If I didn't pick up, it would just be blowing up my phone. And then when I did pick up, it would be hours of me talking out our situation, what we both wanted, what I didn't want, what I did want. It was always kind of bitter and heavy because we were never on the same page.
Josh, I feel like when you watch this video, you'll realize how dumb you were.
Yeah.
I think you would never do this.
I was very dumb. Yes.
You would never do this now.
Yeah.
You were not ready for a relationship. You were.
Exactly. I was not ready for a relationship. So me playing these games, like if I'm gonna beat her in these relationship games, was not happening. It's not gonna happen. So I try to make more space between us. She would invite me over. She would call me every night, hound me, message me, see me at work, be crying at work. We shared a cubicle at work. We would be next to each other, and she would be in my personal space and sad and miserable, and that makes me sad and miserable. But there got a point, it was like grating on me. Weeks and weeks of this kind of like hounding, her calling, texting me constantly, seeing me at work, in class, constantly. It is what I wanted, I'll be honest. I wanted a loving relationship, but not this way, though. So begins this cycle, where it's like 2 weeks of her absolutely hating me, being miserable, trying to make me miserable, and then me giving in. And then another couple weeks of just that hatred, that seething, red-hot hatred of, how can you do this to me? Don't you love me? Why won't you be with me? You want to be with me, or you don't want to be with me. Which I get it. And I shouldn't have been in the situation in the first place. But it was one of those things where it's like, there's no getting out, it seems like. And it's like she knew what I liked, too. It's not like this was a stranger, like some random chica. She knew, you know? She knew what I liked.
Ew.
So she would use that, an example.
No.
I'm sorry.
Where do I have to be?
An example. I'm looking at you while talking. Is she knows I like food, okay?
Oh.
She was house sitting this mansion for these rich people in Estero, and she was like, oops, made too much lasagna. Oh, they have a shower with 2 shower heads. Oh, they have a giant trampoline. Oh, they have an Xbox One. Like, on top of everything, I don't know, maybe I am childish, okay? We're all animals. I don't know, man. There's just there's no justifying this,
that was
right?
Satan tempting you.
Yeah.
Exactly what you needed.
Yeah, no, and she knew that, right? So then when I would give in, she would be mad at me regardless. And something really ironic about this is that time where she was house sitting, she asked me, what's your biggest regret? And you want to know the truth? I didn't have one. At that time, I didn't have a biggest regret. I didn't regret anything. I felt like I lived my whole life justified. And now, present day me now, it's exactly the opposite. You know? Isn't that weird? I don't know. This isn't gonna make sense to anybody.
It makes sense to me. It sounded like she was fishing for you to say, my greatest regret is not meeting you sooner. That's what you wanted. Let's be realistic.
That wasn't. I made something up. I literally made something up.
That's what she was.
Because I didn't want to answer,
That's what
but she
was
didn't
saying.
believe me that I didn't have one, so I made something up.
No, it's not that. She wanted you to say, my only regret is not meeting you sooner. I 100%. I promise you. I bet you that's what she wanted.
Yeah.
Women are crazy. They watch too much TV and read too many romance. That's just how it is. We women are weird and complicated.
So there's this cycle. A couple weeks, absolute seething red hot hatred, hounding me. One night of giving in, and then weeks the same one night. Weeks of the same one night.
Mis brazos fueron tu nido, tu velo, la luz de la luna entre los álamos. Mis brazos fueron tu nido, tu velo, la luz de la luna entre los álamos.
Any comments?
Hey, my dude.
I'll be okay. I'll be okay.
It's good.
And this isn't even like
There's
the
not
intense
much,
stuff.
I like it. I mean, there's not much I can say. Usually I like to add like funny things, but it's not funny. You know?
It's a little bit. It's in a separate, self-deprecating type of way, as usual.
Right, I guess.